Probably help if I turned on the mic, right? How's everybody doing? Okay, if you can just let me know if you can hear me. I am live, baby. All right. So, $42 million case study. Now, a lot of people would say I should probably not tell the story. Just because it's pretty traumatizing, right? The whole way this happened, but the lesson here is, as you'll hear in the story, the true understanding of yourself and your self-esteem, once you kind of figure that out, then you can actually start to leverage the right things in your life. Until you figure that key piece out, it doesn't really matter how much money someone else makes because of your contribution or how much money you make in your bank account. What's really important is once your emotional bank account is in a place where you feel like it's healthy and you can pour into others, that's when you have the opportunity to then do incredible things and make real impact in the world. So let's get right to it. All right. So 10 years ago, 17 years old, my dream in life at the time was to be the next Kanye West. I also had an attitude like him. And what I mean by that is I didn't really listen to people in a good way and in a bad way. So like people I should have listened to, I didn't listen to, right? But also in terms of my own creativity and my own beliefs about what I could accomplish in the world, I didn't listen to anybody. So as I'm building that dream, right, as I'm building and working towards that, quite a few roadblocks hit. One of the biggest roadblocks I encountered was when I was offered to actually open up for Kendrick Lamar as an artist. Okay. Yeah, this sucks talking about. So there was this gentleman, he was a manager and he had access to rappers and producers and songwriters. And he seemed to check out, my team took a look, we had adults that I trusted take a look, all these kind of things. He came over to our house for dinner with his wife, sat with my mom, sat with my mentor, all these things, right? So from the safety angle, it looked like we were in the clear, right? We were going to do this deal, and I was going to be at the BET Awards networking behind the scenes, right? So after dinner, time to do the deal, right? We do the deal. He asked us to wire some funds. We wire the funds, and we never hear from him again. That was the moment I realized that doing everything to get to your dream isn't always the best thing to do. We took that really hard. It was a lot of money, right? It's really embarrassing talking about because no one likes to be scammed, simply put, right? So after getting scammed like that, I decided to put the back burners on wanting to be an artist. And so I decided, well, I could still be a successful writer, producer. So I went off to college, but I was really upset about that situation. And so what I did is I actually went onto Google and I typed in how to put your music on television, because I was that upset that my dream had been taken from me in that instance. And so I said, well, if they're not going to let me show up and do what I want to do in life, and the universe keeps giving me this BS, then I'm going to make a side door and demand that I get what I want. And so when I Googled that, there was this website. Some of you may know it. It's called Reverb Nation. I submitted my music on there, paid money to submit my music. Then I get an email back from somebody who said that they liked the music. And this particular submission actually had my vocals on it. Didn't think anything of it. Still was on a very untrustworthy vibe. I didn't want to trust anyone, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to have my lawyer take a look at this. So I actually had really expensive lawyer take a look at it. But the problem is they weren't a music lawyer. They were a business lawyer. So it didn't really help that much, right? So I said, you know what? I've already been burned. Worst thing that can happen is I send them the songs and they do nothing really with it, or they use it. Couldn't be possibly be worse than losing all that money. Year after sending that music to that person, okay, I'm going to share my screen now. I get a phone call and I'm in college, summertime internship. Okay. What happens is that lady that I submitted the music to, she called me and she said, Kevin, they love your song. They want to use it. What for? A movie. Oh, like an indie film? No. Like a major feature film in theaters. And that was when my life changed. So when you Google me, the second thing that actually pops up is my IMDb profile. And what you'll see here is that I'm most known for Almost Christmas. And that situation changed my life because it did $42 million in the box office. You can look up the public record in here. Okay. It opened other doors for me to build a brand using those credentials. And now with that brand and that credibility, I could then do whatever I wanted to do. And that's the $42 million case study. So all my songwriters out there, don't you ever let anybody tell you anything about your music and what you can and can't do. Songwriters, we're sensitive about our stuff. We're never not going to be. We need to accept it, but we need to figure out the business. So figure out the business, get out of your own way, open those side doors because that front door ain't coming for you anymore. Okay. All right. Hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good day.